Alright, starting out giving all glory, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Let's do that right. You know, all glory, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, God of Israel, to the 12 tribes of Israel, blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. This is Yashar with another lesson from the Children of the Light. Coming all the way from Dallas, Texas, man. We got brothers in Seattle, Washington, Yahweh Kanan, Chicago area, Yarala Ah, and Kara. And this is Yashar coming out of Dallas. Just here with the good lesson, man, and hopefully, video record allows me to record the whole thing, be on some bullshit sometimes. But the name of this lesson is Do You Enjoy Oppression? Do you enjoy oppression, or why do you enjoy oppression? And that question ain't just to everybody. That question ain't just a broad question. It ain't. That's to Israel. It's to the blacks, the Latins, and Native Americans. Do you enjoy oppression, or why do you enjoy oppression? Because if you look at nowadays, what you got, you just had the Super Bowl just passed, so everybody all holly and jolly, and the Chiefs won, and the Eagles, they're great, and you got the NBA All-Star weekend, and you got the white boy winning the dunk contest, and he's defying the odds and beating the odds, and you got all this bullshit, man, Rihanna and all this shit, and announcing she was pregnant in the Super Bowl, and then all this shit don't matter, man, all this shit don't matter. All right, them is distractions, all right, them is just going down into the Roman ages when they had the Colosseums and the circuses and and all the distractions to keep the people from what's really going on out here, But us, we the prophets, we're gonna bring it out. We're gonna bring it out. We're gonna bring out the truth, nothing but the truth and what's going on in this world. So, I think I found this article last week, and it was crazy, man. I just sent it to a couple of people I knew, and it's like, God damn, how do you feel about this? And it's actually one of two articles, but we didn't get into the first article. And I actually didn't, I wrote it down. I didn't, use it for my phone or anything. It says each year Americans waste about 119 billion pounds of food. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Each year Americans waste about 119 billion pounds of food. That's a lot of goddamn food. It says that equals about 130 billion meals and more than $408 billion in food thrown away each year. It says that equals about 130 billion meals. All right. Now think about how many people is in this world. I can't remember the exact number. I really can't. But it's well over a billion people in this world. So that means that we throw away enough food to feed the whole population, probably twice, three times. But instead of us keeping that food seconds and thirds, we throwing that shit away. This is America. This is just America, though. Not even counting the whole, however many other countries it is in this world. All right. And it says nearly 40% of all food in America is wasted every year. So what does that tell you, man? What does that show you? That for one, we're not grateful for what we have. For two, motherfuckers don't give a fuck out here. Motherfuckers ain't rationing nothing. They don't know nothing about, eating right, because they're America's the fattest country there is. They don't know nothing about saving, They don't know nothing about like I said, rationing, And it's gonna come to times to where, if you like it or not, motherfucker, it's gonna come to times that we know this because we're the prophets. We hearken into the words, diligently. But yeah, we know it's gonna come a time to where, you're gonna have to start taking the rations, and you're gonna have to start entering into them camps and them, and that old martial law gonna roll around, and all you motherfuckers who just run around here, oh man, I got it made, and I can go spend this much every week and that much every month, and oh, I don't need that, I'll just toss it and get some more, I didn't like the taste of it, so I don't want it. Man, you motherfuckers gonna be the first ones out here suffering. Running around here like a chicken with your head cut off, not knowing what the fuck to do in these times. And I'm gonna get into the scriptures, let the scriptures bring it out. But these are the same people out here, man, that just living carelessly. They don't care about what they do or how they're affecting the planet. They don't care about none of that, man. They only care about their family, their money, and what makes sense to them, and what benefits them. All right. And so now that we know how wasteful America is, how wasteful of a nation or a country America is, we go to, this comes from Statista.com. It says in 2021, 19% of black people living in the U.S. were living below the poverty line. And what below the poverty line means is, as a family or a household, you make under $28,500 a year, I believe. $28,500 a year is equivalent to the household making roughly $500 to $600 a week. So think about that. If I myself am making like, just say I'm just going to use a random number. If I'm making 700 to 750 every week, you got a household that's only making 500 to 600 every week. You see where that goes? If one person can do it, but now it takes a household to do it, and they still ain't making enough more than that individual, you damn right they're gonna be in poverty, you know. And it's crazy how when I looked at this article, you know, it only said something about black people. Well, no, I rephrase that. It showed 19% black people, and then when you look at the white Americans that are in poverty in the U.S., it says only about 8.2% of whites are in poverty, and only about 8.1% of Asians are in poverty. And so now that we know, of course, the black man is, well, not just the man, the black person is the most oppressed out here, you would think. And then as I'm reading down on the article, it continues to tell us that, and you can look this up, it's from Statista.com. It says the American Indian is the most oppressed in the nation at 24%. 24% of American Indians are living below the poverty line. 19% of blacks are living below the poverty line, and 17% of Hispanics are living below the poverty line. And who does that make up? The 12 tribes of Israel: blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. Does it not? Does it not? Is that not the fact that the three most oppressed people in this world right now, this country right now, are blacks, Latins, and Native Americans? Or I'll say it in order: Native Americans, blacks, and Hispanics. But it's the American dream, right? But we just know to get up every day and continue to do what we're supposed to do, right? And go to work and get home and have sex with whatever bride is on the menu for the week, and just smoke and drink your problems away, and they wake up the next day and just do it again, right? That revolving cycle that we're in, that's what's keeping us in the position we are in. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua ain't tell us to go do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm bringing these scriptures down a little bit, but Yahushua didn't tell us to do the things that we're doing, and we wonder why we're below the line. We wonder why we're falling short on rent and low-ass credit scores, and like that shouldn't mean anything, and not being able to pay for this, and falling short on gas and grocery money, and can't get your kids this, and school starting, and can't even buy your kids outfits. But you just had a whole $3,000, $4,000 tax check, and we wonder why we just can't keep it all together. Well, I'll let the scriptures tell you why. And I'll reiterate on the scriptures, because it starts with the book first. But first we have to figure out who we're being oppressed by, okay? Because it ain't just anybody that's oppressing us. Like, it ain't just some black guy oppressing everybody that's black, or some Hispanic guy that's oppressing everybody. We're going to see. So this is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and the wicked is Esau. We know that. Out of all 50 to 52 presidents, whatever we've had, all of them have been Edomites. And the only one that wasn't an Edomite was a fucking Hamite. Yeah, Barack Obama was not a black man. He was a Hamite. Check his dad. Look at his dad is. But out of all the fucking presidents we've ever had, who were they? Whites. Think about it, out of all the Supreme Court members and counselors and governors and superintendents for school, yeah, you see a few blacks, you see a few Hispanics, you might even see a few Asians and Chinese, and I don't know how the fuck they got there, but majority of those people is white, because the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. And it says, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not aware, and who is he? So what that says is, he covers the faces of the judges thereof. Who is the true judges of the earth? You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be Israel. Power, of course, power is given into the hands of Esau, because it says Jacob. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning thereof. But you know what I'm saying? He covers all righteousness. He don't want you to come out here talking about I'm a black man from the tribe of Judah, or I'm a Cuban man from the tribe of Manasseh, or a Mexican man from the tribe of Issachar. He don't want you to come out speaking that truth. You know what I'm saying? That's why he does his best to cover the truth. He does his best to filter our videos. And it's gonna come a time to where, of course, You know, you think how about Shem Yahshua, starting with the elders, apostles on down to GMS, Elder Tahar, Gabar, and Alamwar. It's gonna come to time to where we ain't gonna be able to do this. We ain't gonna be able to make YouTube videos or Odyssey videos because he's gonna completely shut this truth off from the world. And that's why now we taking the time out of our days, and it ain't just nothing that I just want to do. Well, let me rephrase that. It ain't just nothing I can just wake up and say, I'm gonna make a video today. I have to be given the spirit and the power from Yahweh Shem Yahshua to do this. So this is the Lord speaking through us, the prophets, warning y'all motherfuckers what's gonna happen. But we'll get back into that. I'll go back over there. It says Job chapter 9 verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So how is you living this American dream, or how is you gonna be like, how are you gonna be successful for the rest of your life if you're not even, you don't run nothing, you don't run shit? Okay. First of all, as Israelites, we have laws, statutes, and commandments to abide by. So we can't be out here doing everything. You can't be out here trying to get the bag and legally and doing this and that and pimping hoes, and you can't be doing that. You can't be out here stealing and scamming and robbing because all that's unjust, you know. And then you run to the white man. You try to, I'm gonna work this job for the next 15 years and 20 years, and you're gonna find yourself with that Stockholm syndrome, like the elders brought out last week. Stockholm syndrome is over time, you know, starting to love and care for your oppressors. You know, that's what a lot of you niggas is going through right now, man. It's loving and caring for your oppressors. But scripture tells you to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. So in my head, yeah, I'm gonna get on this job and I'm gonna do exactly what I need to do. I'll make my, you know, my daily wages and all that, weekly wages. But at the end of the day, I know to not trust this man, because the scriptures is all that we need, is being who we are. And like I said, I'm gonna get into that. So let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. We'll start at verse 47. It says, because, man, I really hope the audio is good and everything, but it should be good. The headphones should be on. But it says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, like King David was doing, for the abundance of all things. I'm gonna read that again. It says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God, and the reason I got thy God underlined is because that's letting us know that the God of Israel, right? With joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Verse 48, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. Let me read that again for the ones in the back. I probably didn't hear it that good, all right? Start back at verse 47. It says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And when we look back at who's the most oppressed based off poverty, it's us. It's Israel. It's Israel. Top 3 of the charts, all right? Top 3 of the charts. We top in the charts, man, when it comes to oppression and poverty. And why is that? Because we just simply don't follow what the Lord tells us to do, man. From each and every captivity we've been in, from the times of Moses in Egypt to the times of you know, you go back to the Hellenistic times. We had the Israelites who were Greeks, you know, they were following the Greek customs and doing all this, you know, to the times of now in Babylon. You know, we tend to fall away and fall short of what the Lord tells us to do, simply because we go and follow the ways of the world. That's why it says, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Think about it. And when you see homeless people on the street, you know, they want warmth, and they want food and clothes. You know, they want all things. When you down to your last, man, what you say, man, I wish I just had 10,000 right now, man. I wish I had a new car right now, man. I wish I had this and I wish I had that. You in want of all things because you feel short of serving the Lord. So therefore, he puts you short of what you want. All right. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So you're not going nowhere, man. You can't escape oppression. You can't escape the curses either. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You can't escape this. Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua got you in a chokehold, man. You ain't gonna let go until he say you destroy it. in order he ain't gonna let go until you hearken unto his word. Verse 49 says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Oh, who is that? Who is that? It's Esau. It's Esau, proven. And how do we know exactly that it's Esau? Because when you look at it, it says, as swift as the eagle flieth. Who's Esau's? What is America's national animal? It's the eagle. You know, put one and two together, you know. A nation whose tongue shall thou not understand. We didn't understand Christopher Columbus when he got off the boat. Matter of fact, the only way he understood us was because he had Hebrew translators. You know, that's the only reason he knew who these Indians were, what they could say, how to talk to them, communicate with them. It's because he had Hebrew translators talking to those Native Americans that was in the land that he had just came to, which is formerly what is now known as America. But that's what we didn't understand him. We didn't know what the fuck he wanted. We didn't know what the fuck he was there for. We never seen these men before. Yet they brought out the guns and the diseases and the rob and the rape, and that's what they put upon our people. All right, and the word tells you that. It says, "Shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." Man, GMS is going off. I seen GMS North Carolina, seen some other brothers, but from the YouTube notifications. Verse 50, it says, "A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young." So, man, they don't care if you're 20, if you're 15, if you're 65, if you're 70. Esau is going to get his way, no matter how he has to get it. Whether it's killing you from the youth, killing you from the old ages, whether it's putting metals in your food, dyes in your food, artificial food, all that shit, man. Like, you know, he don't care, man, because he wants total control. And for the ones that have ears, that hear, you know what I'm saying, and it's hearkening to his word through true doctrine, you know, they know that it's going to come a time that Esau is going to want everybody under one power. And if you know what that one power is, and you know what I'm saying, it ain't our power. It ain't the Lord's power. I ain't saying that. That's the heavenly power. Esau's going to want everybody under this worldly power. It's called the one world. You know the rest. All right? And he's going to prove that he's going to do that by any way possible. If he got to, what the elders was bringing up back then, you know, they're going to have the guillotines rolling out. And, you know, just say if you got to, however old you is, and you don't want to do what Esau telling you at that time, you're going to chop your head off in front of everybody. You're going to prove a point. So he don't care if you're old or young. He wants his point proven, all right? That's why it says, the nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Verse 51, "And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee." Once again, let's go back into martial law, man. It's going back into raiding your houses. You know what I'm saying? Taking what's yours. You motherfuckers think, oh, I'm finna, you know, buy my own piece of land and get with a few of my buddies and put $1 million to the side and buy some acres for my kids and family, so when everything does, you know, falls in this country and will be set. No, it ain't working like that. Because in America, you ain't just no property owner. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers think you got some property, and then you fall back and you realize that all this shit is owned by the government anyways, you know. So it ain't gonna be no mercy, man. It ain't gonna be no Jacob, and in Jacob's trouble, man, it ain't gonna be no mercy. Only mercy you're gonna get is from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and it's hearkening to these words from the law, statutes, and commandments, all right? That's the only way you're gonna find mercy. But I'm gonna read that again. You know, I'm gonna go in more detail. It says, "And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed." So, okay. So what that means? He's gonna raise your houses, raise your homes, take your family, take your kids, take your wife, you know what I'm saying? Do all that until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or the flocks of thy sheep, until you have destroyed thee. So yeah, man, all you motherfuckers think you finna move here and move there and raise your own family and build your own gardens and your own cattle and ranches. First of all, that shit takes money, which We just read that we is the three most oppressed people in this nation, so that ain't really gonna work how you want it to. Second of all, man, you gonna do this shit for what? You know what I'm saying? He gonna come and take all that shit. It's like I said, man. It's a nation of fierce continents. But how do you might ask yourself, okay, well, I know we're getting oppressed. I know this fucked up ass place we're in. I know our oppressors. Well, how do I avoid all this? Oh, well, let's jump down to verse 58. It says, if thou will not observe, if thou will not observe to do all the words of the law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God. Also, we know him as Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It says, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Read that one more time. It says, if thou will not observe to do all the words of the law that are written in this book, the law, statutes, commandments, the 613 commandments, not 10, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name, because it says the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? The Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, cancer, diabetes, sickle cells, all these different types of sicknesses and diseases that we get at a very young age, and it stays with us until we're dead. Speaking of Israel, you know about it. You know about it. That's why you grow up, they tell you don't put too much salt on your plate. Your whole family had diabetes, and you wonder why. And the scripture tells you that. It says, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. So, hey man, long story short is, keep living of the world, doing these things of the world. Deuteronomy chapter 28 is what you should be looking for. Because that's going to explain to you everything that's going to happen to your monkey black ass, as y'all Kanun says. If you just continue to live in this world, man, continue to think you can do whatever you want to do out here. But what you have to know is we're the top 3 most oppressed people in this world. It's not going to let up. It's only going to get worse. And it's going to come to a time to where everything that you're doing right now, it's going to be complete opposite. You're going to be having to follow either it's going to go two ways. Either going to follow Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's law, statutes, commandments, and make it up out of this place, man, sparingly, or you're going to not follow Yahweh Bashem's law, statutes, commandments, keep doing what the fuck you're doing in this world, and end up destroying it just like you. And with that, we want to say shalom.